The Harwich Mariners look to bounce back after losing back-to-back games for the first time in the month of July as they face off against the Chatham Anglers from beautiful Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts on this lovely Sunday evening. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. Tim Foley alongside my broadcast partner, Devin Dobek, as there's a slew of events going on here today across the league, across baseball as a sport as the Chatham Anglers take the mound. The MLB draft is just kicking off. The Cape Cod Baseball League All-Stars were announced today, and Nesson is in town to cover this game if you're in the New England area and would like a visual for the broadcast. As Chatham, once again, they take the field. Devin, tough one last night as the Harwich Mariners were held to just 2 hits against the Colliers.
It was a quick one. Couldn't get anything going. Stranded the bases loaded twice. It was just not a good all-around night for them, and they deserved to lose that game. They were out hit 10-2, committed an error as well. Katua came to play, and they beat the Mariners for the first time all season. Harwich has got to find a way after back-to-back losses to bounce back here against a struggling Anglers team.
So it'll be this lineup that Coach Engler has put together to try and put together a better showing on offense tonight. Batting leadoff, the second baseman, Nick Goodwin. Batting second, the right fielder, Tommy Seidel. Batting third, the third baseman, Brock Wilkin. Batting fourth, the cleanup hitter, Joe Vitrano. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Hunter Stokely. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Kalai Harrison. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Will Hammeter. Batting eighth, the catcher, Matt Gussetti. And batting ninth, the center fielder out of Virginia, Ethan O'Donnell. They are going to be responsible for taking down Nick Regalago, the starting pitcher here tonight for the Chatham Anglers. Regalago on the season, an 0-1 record, an ERA of 3.43. This is his 6th appearance, 5th start. He's gone 18 1/3 innings to this point. He's struck out 23 to 14 walks and 12 hits. His last outing came back on the 12th against Wareham, pitched 2 1/3. In that 5-5 tie against the Gatemen, allowed 3 hits, 3 runs in his outing, walked 4 batters to just 3 strikeouts. So he's looking to bounce back after an iffy time out last time for the A's. Nick Goodwin stands in. Regalago on the bump, stares in at him. He rocks and delivers, and the first pitch of the ball game is in for a called strike. Umpires for you here tonight. Jeff Merzel's behind home plate calling the balls and strikes. Mark Delaney's over at first, and Mike Rabideau is at third. The 0-1, that'll miss for a ball. The count is now 1-1.
Regalago has pitched against the Mariners. He was fantastic. Only mistake was a rocket to Brock Wilkin. Homered off him, but he went 5 strong. Didn't get a decision thanks to a 3-run rally in the 9th for the Mariners.
That was the last time Harwich was here. That was the only time this season that the Mariners managed to come back and not lose a game after trailing after 8 complete innings. It's a 1-2 count here to Nick Goodwin. Regalago the pitch. Foul tip, that'll be fought off, and we'll keep it at 1-2. Harwich wearing their road blue uniforms, which say Harwich on the front. Gray pants, red helmets. Chatham, on the other hand, in their home whites with the blue pinstripes. They say Anglers across the front. Kicks and delivers. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Nick Goodwin goes down swinging to open up the ball game. And Nick Regalago is off and running.
Had 6 punch-outs against Harwich back on July 6th. Trying to build off that. Had some success with them. It was his longest outing of the season. Allowed just 4 hits across those 5 innings. And to start, he gets Nick Goodwin, one of the premier hitters on the Mariners, go down swinging.
And now you have one of the 6 Harwich Mariner All-Stars named earlier today, and Tommy Seidel standing in. Nick Goodwin as well was an All-Star for the Mariners, named earlier today. It's Nick Goodwin, Tommy Seidel, Brock Wilkin, Joe Vitrano. Conveniently enough for the Mariners, they're 1 through 4 hitters. And then out of the bullpen, you have Zane Probst and Drew Conover. Those are the 6 that were named to the All-Star squad. As it's a 1-1 count here to Tommy Seidel, who stands in. Regalago kicks and delivers. Just misses for a ball. It's now a 2-1 count. But exciting to see these Mariners make it to the All-Star game. A couple of great players who were named to the team. As Regalago delivers the 2-1, that's going to miss for a ball. It's now a 3-1 count. Goodwin, of course, second in the league in RBI with 19. Wilkins slugging right about .403. Seidel currently second on the Mariners with 10 extra base hits. He'll hit this one over to third. That'll be scooped up by Castanazi. He'll throw on to first. It's in time, and there's 2 gone now in the inning. Let's take a moment and set the Chatham defense for you. The outfield from left to right looks as such. Chuck Ingram's out in left. Jake DeLeo's in center. Lyle Miller-Green is in right field tonight. Johnny Castanazi is over at third. Marcus Brown is over at shortstop. Rock Riggio is at second. And over at first is Caden Grice. Jack Rubinstein is behind home plate. He'll be doing the catching here tonight for Regalago. First pitch is in for a strike to Brock Wilkin, and the count's 0-1.
Brock, 3 home runs on the season. As aforementioned, had one to left field here off this same pitcher. See if he can cash in, get Harwich on the board early.
As the 0-1 misses low, it's now a 1-1 count. Wilkin on the season for the Mariners as he stands in with a 1-1 count to him here. Right now batting .226 as he swings and misses. It's now a 1-2 count. On base percentage right about .368. Not exactly the season he had last year with the Mariners when he won the MVP. Youngest ever to do so in the Cape Cod Baseball League, but he's still found himself going to the All-Star game as he'll swing and miss at the 1-2 pitch, and the Mariners are retired to open up the opening frame. We head to the bottom of the first inning. The Chatham Anglers due up to bat when we return. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside Veterans Field. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you. As we head to the bottom of the first inning, let's set the Chatham Anglers starting lineup for you. Batting leadoff, the center fielder, Jake DeLeo. Batting second, the right fielder, Lyle Miller-Green. Batting third, the second baseman, Rock Riggio. Hitting cleanup, the left fielder, Chuck Ingram. Batting fifth, the third baseman, Johnny Castanazi. Batting sixth, the first baseman, Caden Grice. Batting seventh, the catcher, Jack Rubinstein. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Marcus Brown. And batting ninth, the designated hitter, Cooper Engel. This is a Chatham Anglers lineup that's batting .199. That is the worst average in the league. They're going to have to try and solve Jonathan Santucci, one of the better pitchers in this Harwich Mariners rotation this season. As Santucci stands in, adjusts the cap, and gets ready to deliver his first pitch. Santucci on the season, an 0-1 record, an ERA of 1.65. This is his fourth start of the season. He's pitched 16 1/3, striking out 16 batters to just 4 walks. He falls behind in the count early here, 1-0 to Jake DeLeo. Here's the next pitch from Santucci. That'll miss inside. It's 2-0.
DeLeo, one of those 5 All-Stars. Jake DeLeo, Marcus Brown, Caden Grice, Ben Hampton, and Alex McFarland, the 5 Angler All-Stars.
As Santucci delivers the 2-0, it's cut on and miss upstairs. Going after it was Jake DeLeo, couldn't get any of it. This is Santucci's first start since the game at home against Brewster back on July 10th, that 4-3 victory over the Whitecaps. Since then, he's come up to bat in 3 separate games. He's been a dual threat this season for the Mariners, more so as of late, as it's a 3-1 count here to DeLeo.
Most notably was that game against Wareham, had a home run, double, and walked. He was fantastic in the lower end of the lineup.
That's going to be fought off foul. Counts run full here as the Mariners were sat down 1-2-3. Jonathan Santucci trying to get off to a similar start here. He's got a full count. This next pitch set to be the 6th pitch of the at-bat. Coming up to Jake DeLeo. That's fought off, and so we'll do it again, once again at 3-2. But Harwich, yes, last night, losing to Cotuit, a tough loss. Back-to-back losses now in the month of July for the first time after getting off to a scorching hot start to open up the month. Santucci kicks and delivers the full count pitch, and again it's fouled off by DeLeo.
They've had just 6 hits and 1 run in their last 19 innings. It has been not a great showing. And when you think about the Wareham game, had 11 hits, 7 runs. It really just peaked there and has been a perpendicular dive down.
As a 3-2 comes in, that's going to miss outside, ball 4. Jake DeLeo gets a free trip down to first base, and there's the first base runner of the game as Lyle Miller-Green comes up to bat now. And yeah, you mentioned it, Harwich almost shut out yesterday were it not for a run that they managed to just scratch across in the 8th inning, a run that, mind you, was unearned as the one man who came across, the one base runner who got on, Brian Arndt, got on with an error before Cole Harding came in, pinch ran for him, and then ended up coming home. So a run that really almost even should not have happened. So that game against Wareham, the last time Harwich really had some good looks on offense. As first pitch into Lyle Miller-Green, misses for a ball, it's 1-0.
Miller-Green, a native of Burke, Virginia.
As that misses in the dirt, Gassetti doesn't know where it is, and so it's going to be a free base for Jake DeLeo. It skipped out in front of him. He started looking behind him, and it costs the Mariners 90 feet. Tough break there for Gassetti, who's otherwise a solid defensive option here for the Mariners behind home plate. He's been great this season since coming in a bit after the start of the year. But lets that one get away from him, and now there's a man right behind Santucci over on second. Here's the 2-0. That misses down low as well. It's a 3-0 count. Santucci not quite having his stuff early on here. We've seen 3 balls in each the first 2 at-bats.
Usually a guy who's pretty dialed in. Walked just 20 guys this past season at Duke. Had 58 punch-outs as well for them. So typically a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk guy, but control really suffering here.
Here's a 3-0. That's in for a called strike at 92 miles an hour. Santucci ripping it in there. But again, Santucci, this is his 4th start of the season. 2nd since returning from Team USA. As the 3-1 comes in, that's going to be flown out to right field. That's going back toward the fence. That is gone. A 2-run opposite field home run for Lyle Miller-Green. Opens this one up, 2-0 Chatham in the bottom of the 1st inning.
A blast. Got all that. Santucci just trying to throw strikes. He grooves one here, makes a mistake. And Miller-Green, a guy who can capitalize. That's his first home run of the season. Also, first pair of RBIs. Took it to opposite field and a hit off the field out there in right field.
And so this is obviously not an ideal start here for Santucci, who's usually able to eat up innings, but he's struggled to get the first 2 outs. And so Chatham, again, off and running right now. Well, and I believe news has just been broken. Jackson Holliday, the 1st overall pick in the 2022 MLB draft. Grandson of Tom Holliday, manager for the Chatham Anglers. How exciting is that?
That's got to be an awesome feeling to hear it over the loudspeaker, especially after you hit a 2-run home run like that. You get the lead. Your grandson goes #1 overall. Your son was already a 7-time All-Star. Baseball runs in his family. Let's see if he can turn his club around and maybe get some hardware for the Anglers in 2022.
Probably the highlight of his summer, I would say, just then. As that's going to be fought off out of play, 0-1 count. Again, just the timing on that. You mentioned it. The 2-run shot and your grandson gets picked first overall in the draft. How about it?
Why not parlay it? Make it even more exciting, that much sweeter.
As Santucci, I'm sure he's got other things to focus on right now. As it's an 0-1 count, that'll miss inside. It's now 1-1. 79 miles an hour that came in at to Rock Riggio, the second baseman who stands in now for Chatham.
That's the most earned runs that Santucci's given up in an outing. Previous high was 1. That came back on July 10th against Brewster in the 4-3 win. 1 was his highest, gives up 2 here without recording an out in the top of the first to the Anglers.
As the 1-1 misses outside, evades the glove of Gussetti. It's now a 2-1 count. So already, I mean, just that number, you can tell Santucci not exactly with his greatest stuff here this season, but we've seen this happen a lot with Harwich starters this season, where as the 2-1 comes in and misses, it's a 3-1 count now, where they'll have a shaky first inning. How many first innings have the Mariners exited out of where they're down 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, but then the starter settles back in and has a nice couple of innings as Jonathan Santucci ends up walking Rock Riggio. It's the second walk of the inning, and he's now just 1 walk shy of his season high in that regard.
And that's exactly what happened last time we were at Veterans Field. Carlson Reed came in, got his doors blown off, walked people, struggled with control, gave a bunch of hits, 4 runs in total. That's all Chatham scored in the game. From that point on, struck out 10 men.
As that's going to be blasted out toward right field. Tommy Seidel underneath it makes the catch, and there's the first out of the inning after 3 batters come up and each get on. Again, Jake DeLeo and Lyle Miller-Green coming home on Lyle Miller-Green's shot. What was ultimately for him his first of the season. Rock Riggio now still standing on first. Again, Chuck Ingram just flying out to right. So this brings up Johnny Castanazi, third baseman here today for the Anglers. It's a fresh count to him as Santucci stares at first. First pitch is in for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Really atypical, the amount of balls we've been getting from Santucci early on here. Generally a high volume strikeout kind of guy, but that's just not been his MO here tonight. Pickoff move over to first. That will keep Riggio pinned over at the bag. Strikes to walks, or strikes to balls right now, I should say. 9 strikes, 11 walks, or pardon, balls for Jonathan Santucci. As the 0-1's going to miss outside, it's 1-1. Let's take a moment and introduce the Harwich Mariners defense here. Starting out in left field, Will Hammeter. It's Ethan O'Donnell in center. Tommy Seidel's out in right field. Infield from left to right reads as such. Brock Wilkins at third. Kalai Harrison's at short. Nick Goodwin's at second. Hunter Stokely's over at first. As it's now a 1-1 count. And it's Matt Gussetti who is behind home plate, who is going to be the second half of the battery for Jonathan Santucci here tonight. It's now a 1-2 count, pardon me, as the 1-1 was fought off, fouled. So Santucci looking for his first strikeout of the night, trying to get the second out of the inning. Here's the pitch. A pitch that misses well high at 92 miles an hour. You hear about pitchers trying to throw it just above the zone to get guys to chase after it on a fastball. Not even Castanazi's going to think about that one, as that was well above the strike zone.
Santucci's just been releasing it too early. A lot of his pitches missing up in the zone. We saw him drill the home plate umpire, Jeff Merzel, before his outing.
That one's hit right back up the middle. Just gets past the middle infielders and Harrison and Goodwin. That's going to be a base hit. And so it's the second hit of the inning as Castanazi's now on. Fourth base runner here for the Anglers. And that was a play that Santucci, I'm sure, is going to wish he had back.
Yeah, got right by him. A slow roller, nothing hard. He could have made the play, and Harrison and Goodwin can't catch up to it. Could have been inning-ending double play. At least got the lead run. But it gets by him, and now he'll have to pitch another 2 outs to a big all-star in Caden Grice. Grice leads the league with 42 punch-outs, but his 11 RBIs are why he kind of sits in the heart of that Chatham Anglers order.
as Santucci stares in. Grice on the season, batting .223, swings and misses, well ahead of the first pitch as it comes in at 80 miles an hour. But Santucci getting worked right now. Again, he's led up the most runs in an outing all season long here in just the first inning. He'll come set, stares over at first, now back towards second and delivers. Another big swing and a miss from Grice as cranked it up a little bit, 82 on that last one. But Grice again, well ahead of it. It's now an 0-2 count. Santucci looking for the put-away pitch in the lefty-on-lefty matchup here, trying to get Grice to go down swinging, trying to record that second out of the inning. Riggio on second, Castanazi on first. Santucci looks back, here's the pitch. That misses just high, and so it's now a 1-2 count.
Grice, a guy you just got to pick your spot and hit it if you're Santucci. He likes to swing it, but he goes down a lot. If he can locate a corner here, not much of a chance that Grice will stand.
Santucci looks back at second. Here's the 2-2. That'll be cut off foul. Count remains at 2-2. This is a Chatham team that last night were able to pick up their first road win of the season. And here we are, more than 2/3 of the way through the year. They had had a rough go of it, the Anglers. Previously 0-9-5 on the road. As it's a 2-2 count. And that's gonna hit him. Caden Grice will head down to first base. And this inning goes from bad to worse for Jonathan Santucci and the Harwich Mariners.
The catcher from Georgia Tech.
And for Santucci, this has got to be a pretty cool experience for him. Obviously, so far his worst start, but a guy who grew up in Leominster, Massachusetts, playing on Nesson, pitching on Nesson, typically in the ACC, so you won't see him on TV too much in the area, but getting to pitch on Nesson, which I'm sure he grew up watching. With the bright lights on, he has not stepped up to the task here.
It has not been an ideal showing for him here as the first pitch into Jack Rubinstein comes in. That's cut on and miss up high, 91 miles an hour. It's an 0-1 count. So 5 Anglers have gotten on in this inning. Riggio's on third, Castanazi's on second, Grice is on first. Lyle Miller-Green sent both he and Jake DeLeo all the way around on his first home run of the season. As that's in for a called strike, it's an 0-2 count. Still just one gone in the inning. It was Chuck Ingram who flew out to right field. Been a long inning here for Santucci.
Got to be careful here. Rubinstein 4 for 10 since he's arrived. He's been hot.
And that's going to be cut on and missed. 0-2 count is going to result in a strikeout. First of the night for Jonathan Santucci, as he'll now face off against Marcus Brown, the 8-hitter, the 8th Angler to come up to bat in the inning. Batting .235 on the season, 23 of 98. He's come across and scored 10 times, he's struck out 22 times on the season. Santucci trying to record back-to-back strikeouts if he can get ahead the count. Bunt was shown, and it gets away from Gassetti. Back to the backstop, in to score is Riggio. A 3-0 Anglers lead as the Mariners struggle early here against Chatham.
And this is going to be on Matt Gassetti. He was anticipating a bunt being dropped down, which you really got to think about, because with 2 outs and the bases loaded, highly unlikely Chatham's going to drop it down. They distracted him with the bunt attempt. Gassetti popped to his feet. It went off his glove. Lo and behold, 3-0.
1-0 comes in. That's hit left side, picked up by Harrison. He'll throw on to first. It's in time, and the inning finally comes to an end for the Mariners. So 3 runs come across. Lyle Miller-Green, a 2-run shot, and Rock Riggio comes in on a pitch that gets away from Gassetti. We'll head to the top of the second inning. Harwich Mariners back up to bat when we return. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
The designated hitter from Boston
It's the
College, number 30,
top of the
Joe
second inning
Vetrano.
now as Harwich is back up to bat. It'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Joe Vetrano, Hunter Stokely, and Kalai Harrison all due up here for the Mariners. Finding themselves in a 3-0 hole early on here as Chatham was able to bring across 3 runs back in the bottom of the first inning. Mariners falling behind early often recently, it feels. Of course, we're down 9-0 against Orleans the other day after just the 3rd inning, and then let up a run in the top of the first yesterday against the Colliers. It was Tommy Troy, the first batter of the ball game, who ended up coming all the way around to score. And so Harwich has been trying to get off to a better start, but again, not the first time that they've allowed runs in the first inning. As that one's going to be fouled off by Vetrano, ends up hitting the light fixture, and that thing's rocking a little bit here. Vetrano put some power behind that one, and the count here is 1-1 as Harwich this season, when allowing opponents to score in the first inning, overall record of 3-6-3. It's a 1-1 count. That's going to miss outside. 2-1. Back on the mound, Nick Regalago. His second inning of work made quick work of Harwich. 2 strikeouts in the top of the first inning. Sat him down 1-2-3. It's a 3-1 count. That's going to be lined out towards center field by Vetrano, and that's going to be caught. Jake DeLeo stretching out, able to make the grab, just keeping that glove above his head. He records the first out of the inning.
Fantastic catch there, Vetrano. Hit that on a line. Had a double last night, one of the 2 Harwich hits. Caught all of that one, but a better catch out in center field by Jake DeLeo.
This is a Chatham defense that's tied for 3rd in the league in fielding percentage, .977, one of the better defenses despite what has been a woeful season on offense. Now Hunter Stokely stands in. Stokely falls behind 0-1 as Regalado's able to get a first pitch strike on him. Next pitch will miss for a ball outside, 87 miles an hour. It's a 1-1 count now. Here's the next pitch from Regalado, moving with some pace here. And that's swung on and missed by Stokely, so the count is now 1-2. Stokely, he's not had the greatest season at the plate, but he gets on base. For what it's worth, he's a guy who knows how to take a walk, he knows how to get hit by a pitch as much as you're able to earn that, as the 1-2 is going to be in for a called strike. Nick Regalado's got 3 strikeouts through the first 5 batters he's faced. He's retired the first 5 batters, and he's already through an inning and 2/3.
He's been fantastic, working quickly. You saw Stokely try and take his time to re-enter the box there. Try and chop up his pace, but Regalado just hitting his spots tonight. That's strikeout number 3 for him.
As time called briefly by Jeff Merzell behind home plate, this brings up Kalai Harrison, one of the newer Mariners. He's appeared in just 4 games, this now his 5th, as the first pitch to him is going to miss for a ball at 89 miles an hour inside. Count opens at 1-0. Harrison on the season batting .250. That's just 3 of 12. That's going to be fought off as the count moves to 1-1 now. On base percentage sitting at .308. So we're getting a feel here for Kalai Harrison, what exactly he brings, and you know, I think he is too. A guy who was injured back early in his collegiate season at Texas A&M, who's trying to find his way once again at the plate, in the field. And it's tough to have to do that in the nation's premier collegiate summer league, as it's a 2-1 count to him. He'll check his swing. That'll miss. It's a 3-1 count now.
And you mentioned how he's settling in. I think that he might be one of the best we've seen all season at settling in. Last night we saw him go down swinging at a high strike. The next pitch in his next at-bat lines a high fastball into left field. That was the other hit of the Mariner too. So learned his lesson. Guy who kind of learns via osmosis.
As it's a 3-2 count now here. Harrison took a called strike he thought was going to miss for a ball. Here's the 3-2. And that's going to miss for ball 4. So the Mariners finally have their first base runner of the game. Harrison's down to first base. It took the 6th batter of the lineup to finally get somebody on, but they pulled it off as now Will Hameter comes up to bat for the Harwich Mariners, left fielder out of Alabama, batting just 105 on the season. Somebody who really has been hoping for better days when he steps into the box. As the first pitch comes into him, that's a called strike, 0-1. Just 28 pitches right now for Regalago compared to that of Santucci, who's already thrown 37 in his lone inning of work. 8 batters came up to bat in that bottom of the first for the Anglers. Meanwhile, this is just the 7th for the Mariners and could potentially be the final of the second inning. As Regalado's ahead in the count, 0-1, here's the pitch. Hit on the ground, Regalado is able to leap up, flip it over to first base, and so the inning ends. Regalado does it himself as we head now to the bottom of the second inning. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball. Still a 3-0 lead for the Chatham Anglers. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Machinery, generators, and marine engines. Visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cayman Islands.
Jonathan Santucci back out for his second inning for the Mariners after a first, which was undoubtedly his worst of the season. Allows 3 runs, hits a batter, walks 2, allows a 2-run shot to Lyle Miller Green and a single to Johnny Castanazi to help move Rock Riggio, who ultimately came across to score. An unideal first for Santucci and the Mariners, but again, we've seen it where Harwich has settled in come the second inning, so we'll see what version of Santucci we get now. As Cooper Engel, the designated hitter, comes up to bat for Chatham. The one angler not to come up in the bottom of the first. He'll line the first pitch he sees out into center field. That's going to get under the glove of O'Donnell. Picked up by Seidel. He'll whip it into second, but not in time as Cooper Engel has a leadoff first pitch double to open it up here for Chatham.
It looked like O'Donnell was going to have a chance to make a play at that. Might have just misread it. Looked like he beat the ball to the spot, but can't haul it in. Cooper Engel now 4 for 9 against the Mariners. He's the top batter for the Anglers. Has scored twice and walked twice already as well.
He's been a Mariner killer this season whenever facing off against Harwich. As standing in now, Jake DeLeo, who's come across the score once already in this game. Bunts laid down, that's going to run foul, and so the count opens at 0-1. And I mean, to talk about the play again for a moment, O'Donnell just really sold out for it 100%. I agree with you there that perhaps maybe a different read on it, and he's got at least a chance to keep it from getting beyond him and allowing that ball to turn into a double. I think that's what could ultimately come back to hurt Harwich in this inning, is allowing Cooper Engel to get down to second base. As it's an 0-1 count here to Jake DeLeo. Santucci stands in, stares down DeLeo. The 0-1 misses high. It's now a 1-1 count. Anglers so far have been able to get 6 of their first 9 batters on base. Really impressive stuff from an offense that's been struggling this season. As DeLeo cuts on that one, misses. It's a 1-2 count.
Similar script to what we saw last time. Mariners went down 4 early. They were able to come back and at least get a point out of it. Season series is in favor of Chatham.
As the 1-2 misses up high, it's a 2-2 count now. And these are the games you need to be able to win if you're Harwich. It's been such a struggle on the road against the East, as Harwich really has just not been able to do a whole lot whenever they leave the confines of White House Field. As the 2-2 comes in, that's cut back foul. And so the count remains here at 2-2. Mariners against the East on the road this season, 0-6-2. Of course, one of those ties coming here, but one of those losses coming here as well, as this is the final time the Mariners will take a trip out to Veterans Field, save for the playoffs potentially, but you get the feeling that at this point, with the way the season's going, it's going to be either Harwich or Chatham that misses the cut, as that one's going to be lined just past Kalai Harrison at short, picked up by O'Donnell. He'll whip it into second, and it's going to be a rundown now over at third. Cooper Engel's trying to make a play toward home. Play at the plate. Macasetti is able to run him down. Up to second base is Jake DeLeo, but the Mariners are able to cut down Cooper Engel as he gets caught trying to head home, a little too greedy on the base paths, and there's one gone now. A questionable decision to try and send Engel in a situation like that where you have nobody gone.
That's what it came down to. The Mariners will take it. I definitely agree with you, Tim. Weird decision. It looked like maybe he had the time if he was aggressive and was going hard the whole way, but he pulls up, and we're going to score that one 8-4, 5-2 put out. Mariners will take that.
Your typical put out, of course, as there's the first pitch in to Lyle Miller Green, who in his last at bat, of course, hit that two-run shot, brought in both he and DeLeo. And so now here he is again with DeLeo on base, although this time there's a man gone. It's an 0-1 count to him. Santucci delivers up high. That misses for a ball. It's now 1-1.
And I think another thing that kind of adds to why that was so shocking is that the runner at Engel waited to see if the ball was going to get by Harrison. So he was already hesitant off the bat, waiting to see if it was going to get caught or not. So he was behind the clock and then decided to run and stretch it way too much. As you put it, greedy.
1-1 pitch is in there for a called strike at 87 miles an hour. So that's something that you think about could come back to haunt Chatham. Again, this is a team that does not score all that often. 92 runs on the season, tied for 9th in the Cape Cod Baseball League. As the 1-2 comes in, cut on and missed, strike 3. Down goes Lyle Miller Green. Santucci has his second strikeout of the night, and there's now 2 gone in the frame.
Little revenge for him there. Miller Green took him deep back in the first inning. A 2-run blast start the offense for the Anglers, but this time able to catch up. And now all you got to do is get rid of Riggio to keep them scoreless here.
Rock Riggio stands in now, walked back in his last at-bat. He was the third and most recent Chatham Angler to come across to score, as he'll pop up the first pitch he sees. That will head out of play, and we'll do it again. 92 miles an hour that one came in at. Santucci, he's got the velocity, and he's just been taken for an absolute ride here tonight, as he's given up 4 hits right now already against Chatham. As it's a check swing on the 0-1, that'll miss. Count is now 1-1. Santucci on the season, the most hits he's allowed in an outing so far this year is 4, so he's already matched that here. Did come in his last start against Brewster, that 4-3 win, as that one's going to be hit over to Harrison. He'll field it, throw on to Stokely at first is in time, and that ends the inning. So the Anglers make it interesting. They threaten, but due to some poor base running, they end up leaving a runner stranded. Could have perhaps had more. We'll be back in the top of the 3rd inning for more Harwich Mariners baseball. It'll be Chris Cassidy and Johnny Deppen to take over for a moment, as we'll be making a brief stint over on Nesson. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
back to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. I'm Chris Cassidy. Alongside me is our team writer, Johnny Deppen. Johnny, welcome. I believe this is your second time being on a Mariners broadcast, is it?
Yeah, it's my second time being on a broadcast. Couldn't be more excited, but mainly more excited for Tim and Devin over on this one.
Yeah, that's quite the treat as Regalago deals the first pitch of the top of the third inning. That'll be a ball to Mac Gassetti. So, Johnny, tell me a little bit about your time here so far on Cape as pitch number 2 comes in for a strike.
Well,
1-1 count.
Oh, sorry. I'm actually a year-rounder, so my time on Cape is like 6 months out of the year, but I think you meant more the internship. It's been going great.
That's good. And you've had a chance to talk with a lot of the players this season. What has been their thought of how the season has gone so far this season? I was trying to put words together as Mac Gassetti fouls another one off. It'll be a 2-2 count.
A lot of the players just seem really grateful to be on Cape and to have this opportunity to perform in what I believe is the best collegiate baseball league in the summer. Mac especially is someone who was always smiling whenever I see him, always willing to talk, always wanted to make conversation, always giving me fist bumps while I'm watching batting practice. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Mac's been awesome to our media team. I would say all the players have been pretty great with all of us. Of course, Mac Gassetti came in a little bit later in the season. We had Tatum Levins previously, was one of the catchers, and
Well as Kyle Teal.
Kyle Teal as well, a Team USA guy who was one of the 7 Mariners to make Team USA for trying out. As we have a 3-2 count now to Gassetti, and he'll watch the outside pitch for ball 4, and the Mariners get their first runner on here in the top of the third, and that'll bring up the 9-hole hitter and Ethan O'Donnell.
Yeah, and Mac's someone who's always, his average doesn't show it. He's hitting 179 on the season, but he's someone that always works at bats, always makes the pitcher work, and sometimes it doesn't work out for him, but it did right there, drawing the walk.
Yeah, Mac's no stranger to get on base as Ethan O'Donnell awaits the first pitch. That'll be low and outside for ball 1.
Yeah, Ethan's someone kind of in that model of Chris Newell in that they're both center fielders from Virginia. As strike 1 gets thrown in there, it's a 1-1 count to O'Donnell.
Yeah, it's interesting how that worked out. It was like Chris Newell stepped out. Of course, he's a draft guy, draft going on right now, and Ethan O'Donnell stepped in, just transferred to Virginia as he hits a ground ball through the hole into right field for a single. So now the Mariners have first and second with no outs in the top of this third inning, and setting up to be a good one here for us, Johnny.
Yeah, this could make me a little stressed out as I handle live tweeting on our Twitter page, so I could be pulling some double duty coming up soon. But you know, I'd end up being happy because it means we'd score some runs.
Absolutely. Back to the top of the order, Nick Goodwin at the plate.
Nick, of course, one of the All-Stars, just selected today. 3/4 of the infield are Harwich Mariners with Nick Goodwin, Joe Vitrano, and Brock Wilkin.
And they will be in the starting lineup, I believe you mentioned earlier today, on the field at Spillane Field. So filling up the infield, how the first pitch comes in for strike number 1 for Goodwin. And second pitch is ball 1, 1-1 count.
Yeah, Nick Goodwin's someone who is very selective with the pitches he swings at, but when he wants one, he swings, and he swings hard. He makes some of the hardest contact I've seen all season.
Yeah, Goodwin had a solid start to the season as the third pitch is a hard ground ball to the third baseman as they get out 1 and out number 2. So a double play turn. Mac Gassetti is standing on third base. So with 2 down, brings up Tommy Seidel.
Yeah, and that's a couple of close plays over at first that I particularly haven't agreed with, but umpire's discretion and the umpire is always right, and that's a double play.
It was definitely a close one. There's one in the, I believe it was the first inning for Tommy Seidel, who had a chance to beat one out down the line and called him out, but I believe Tim mentioned earlier in the top of the broadcast, Tommy Seidel is second on the team in extra base hits with 10 on the season.
Yeah, and first with stolen bases with 8, I believe. He is one fast guy. He hits it anywhere in the infield. I have a feeling he's going to beat it out.
Also a prolific bunter, as we've seen at White House Field.
Laid down the best bunt I've seen so far in the season as strike 1 comes across, making it an 0-1 count to Seidel.
Seidel will take time, step out of the box, take a second, regroup, wait for Regalago's second pitch come in, as it does for ball one. Be a 1-1 count now. It'd be great if the Mariners could pick up one run this inning.
Yeah, you always want to fight back. You never want to, because bottom of the first inning, easy to come back from that. But as the innings go on, it's more and more imperative that you get at least one across to feel like you're not being just shut out, which they are right now.
As strike two comes across the plate, it'll be a 1-2 count. And you mentioned Jonathan Santucci, the 3-run first inning, but able to battle back in the bottom of the second as Seidel holds. And we'll have a 2-2 count now. Santucci able to hold off the Anglers in the bottom of the second, give the Mariners a chance here in the top of the third to do a little bit of damage. Put up a run here.
Tommy Seidel, looking through the stats, leads the team in triples. That'd be nice if he got one right now. He has 2 of them.
Hard hit ground ball to shortstop. Throw it over to first for out number 3. And that will do it. Mariners are unable to strike here at Veterans Field. I'm Chris Cassidy. Alongside me, Johnny Deppen. We'll be back possibly in the next half inning to let you know, but Tim and Devin might also join you as well. But for now, you're listening to the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Welcome back inside Veterans Field. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick with you once again. A huge shout out to Chris Cassidy and Johnny Deppen, who filled in for a half inning as Devin and I made a brief appearance on Nesson. Probably should have had the timer going on that one. That was a fast half inning, just as luck would have it. As Jonathan Santucci's back out there, it's his 3rd inning of work. That'll skip in the dirt and skip away from Matt Gussetti. So it's a 1-0 count.
It was a blast. I enjoyed it. Santucci now trying to pick the Mariners out of a hill as their offense not doing them any favors.
As that's going to be fought off. It's now a 1-1 count. No, certainly not. Harwich offense is, despite what was an excellent start to that inning, unable to capitalize. You get Gussetti on second, O'Donnell on first with nobody gone, but then, of course, a 5-4-3 put out to retire both O'Donnell and Goodwin, and then Tommy Seidel grounds out to the left side. As the 1-1 comes in, that'll miss. 2-1.
Did look as if maybe Goodwin beat it out. I heard that our Homer broadcast substitutes might have alluded to that, although a radio call. But it did look. We saw it in replay on Nesson, one of the luxuries of that. And it looked like Goodwin was safe, but that's just the way it goes, and have to bounce back now.
It's a 3-1 count here to the batter. And Chuck Ingram, as I have to flip over my scorecard here. Santucci stares in and delivers. Misses for a ball, and it's going to be the 3rd walk of the day from Jonathan Santucci.
Yeah, he has really struggled tonight. I mean, for walks, season high is 3 walks. In the ball game tonight, he's allowed 3. Also hit a man. So a lot of free tickets given out early on, and got to find his way out of it.
Next man up, Johnny Castanazi, 1 for 1 on the day. As that's going to miss for a ball, and so the count here is going to open up at 1-0 to Castanazi.
He initiated that double play, big part of that second inning. Could have been trouble. Mariners got the top 2 on. We thought we were going to have a nice stint on the air, but then a Castanazi double play was able to shorten that. Good around the horn turn.
We'll have to maybe mention something after the game, perhaps not so quickly next time, as it's a 2-0 count. Castanazi stands in. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. A hearty swing at that. And so the count moves now to 2-1. Santucci trying to battle back here. Had a better second inning. Did allow 2 hits in the inning. A double to Cooper Ingram back in the bottom of the second, and then a single to Jake DeLeo. As the next pitch is in for a called strike. Count evens out at 2-2 here to Castanazi. But right now, Santucci, 29 strikes. Pardon, up to 31 strikes, I should say. 26 balls. So was once in the red in that regard. As the next pitch is cut on and missed. Strike 3, that's the 3rd strikeout of the day from Jonathan Santucci.
Gets him there, and that's what he's got to do, is just pitch to these guys with lower averages. Chuck Ingram, the first man he walked, hitting .093 across 42 at-bats coming in. You can't give out free passes to guys like that.
So Grice up to bat now. Chuck Ingram still standing over on first base. Santucci stares over at Ingram on first and comes home. That's going to miss for a ball. The count is now 1-0.
Grice was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat, and that was with 2 strikes on him en route to that huge first inning for the Anglers. He extended it, did his job.
That's fouled off, and it's now a 1-1 count. Yeah, I mean, so impressive to see what Chatham's done here tonight. Batting again, just 199 as a lineup on the season, but couldn't tell that to these guys who stand in there right now. They are on a mission. This has been quite the night for the Anglers, as again, taken first overall in the 2022 MLB draft, the grandson of Tom Holliday, Jackson Holliday. And how about this? Kumar Rocker, last year's number 10 overall pick, picked 3rd overall by the Texas Rangers. They must have seen something in him that not many other teams did. As it's a 1-2 count, he was ranked 38th coming into the draft, ends up going 3rd. Santucci stares over at first, and here's the pitch. That's going to miss high. It's 2-2.
Bit interesting there. It's so cool to me how unique the MLB draft is, and the fact that you can get drafted twice. I mean, that just doesn't happen very often.
As our team writer, Johnny Deppen, raising an excellent point, reunited with former Commodore Jack Leiter. As that's going to be hit over the head of Hunter Stokely at first. Rounding second is Ingram. Holding up at first is going to be Grice. And so the Anglers are still in business here in the bottom of the 3rd inning now. Runners on first and second. And what a night it's been at the plate. That's now 5 hits for Chatham. And that's the most that Jonathan Santucci has allowed in an outing this season.
And he's really struggling. And the batters that he has been able to get ahead of can't finish him off. And 5 hits for the Anglers now. It has really been a battle for him. It's going to be a bullpen night for the Mariners, but that means nothing if their bats can't get going.
Swing and a miss. Jack Rubinstein falls behind early, 0-1.
He was the first strikeout victim of Santucci.
Foul tip back to the mid of Gussetti, and so it's now 0-2. Santucci trying to strike him out for a second time. There is an arm warming over in the Harwich bullpen. Looks to be a lefty down there. I don't have my bifocals on. I can't exactly pick out who that is. It's an 0-2. That's going to be flown out towards center field. O'Donnell sits underneath it, and he makes the catch. Runner at third tags up and Ingram. Throw to the plate. It's a nice throw, but it's not in time. As Chuck Ingram's able to slide in safely. It's the fourth run of the ball game for Chatham. They lead it 4-0.
Just a bit offline for O'Donnell that time. It was a good throw. Hit Gassetti in the air, but about 3 feet down the first baseline. Not going to be in time. A fast runner in Chuck Ingram. So they'll take it. The walk comes around to hurt Santucci. He's now given up 4 runs. That's 4 times his season high.
As Santucci stares over at first. Bunt shown by Jack Rubinstein. But yeah, it's just, or pardon, not Jack Rubinstein, who is just up to bat, who hit that fly out to center field. But for Marcus Brown, who grounded out to short in his last at bat. It's a 1-0 count here. As, yeah, you said it, Devin, it's just not been his night. Control's not exactly been there. Whenever he has sent it over home, Chatham's just been ringing him up. It's been tough to watch here tonight for Santucci in a game in which Harwich needs to get a good start. You know, bullpen's been running thinner and thinner these days as it's a 2-0 count. Hit back up the middle. That's going to be stopped by Goodwin, but it's batted aside. He can't field it. Everybody's safe. Down to second base is Caden Grice. Up to first is Marcus Brown. And so that is going to be the 6th hit of the ball game for the Anglers. They have 2 in every inning now.
And 8 of them, 8 of their 9 guys in the starting lineup have reached base one way or another. The only one who hasn't, Jack Rubinstein. He's got a sacrifice fly for an RBI.
As the man in now is Cooper Engel, doubled back to lead off the second inning before getting cut down at home in a funky little sequence. A run down over at third. It's a 1-0 count here to the batter in Engel.
Engel doubled, but then was thrown out in the pickle between third and home on an 8-4-5-2 putout. Could have been 5-0 just like that.
Yeah, it's going to be in for a called strike. It's now 1-1.
So we'll see what he can do here in the third inning. He's got 2 runners on. Anglers have stranded 3 across their first 2 innings of offense.
As that's going to miss outside, it's now 2-1. Harwich has left a lot on the base paths recently.
7 last night in the loss, which was, when you think about it, a blessing. They had 2 hits all game, so to strand 7 runners with just 2 hits, the game should not have been 2-1.
Yeah, but again, 2 of those instances, the bases were loaded.
Yes.
That's something that hurts you in a 1-run game. As that's popped up, foul, back over, out of play. There is a house here just behind the press box at Veterans Field that has some prime real estate. Baseball fans clearly, because they've built their own makeshift bleachers that see over their fence out onto the field. Talking about having the best seat in the house every night.
That's pretty cool.
That's going to be fouled off. It's now a 2-2 count. 2 gone. Runners on second and first. Grice is on second. Marcus Brown is on first. As again, Engel is in now. It's a 2-2 count.
But I bet their insurance bill is through the roof. The amount of baseballs that sail through there. I can't even imagine anyone would want to take them up.
Yes, it's a 2-2 count. Hit on the ground, right side, foul once again.
Santucci up to 75 pitches. 32 have been balls. He's just struggling. Control, efficiency. It's just not been his night. We've said it. And I hate to harp on it because everybody has a bad night, but something about this night in particular, I mean, I think we're harping on it because he's been lights out. Arguably could have been an all-star had he not went to Team USA for a couple weeks.
If he didn't miss a start to Team USA, he probably would have been. As the 2-2 comes home. That's in for called strike 3. That ends the inning. 4th strikeout of the game for Jonathan Santucci. We head to a break. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. Or pardon, top of the 4th coming up. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We bring you back inside Veterans Field. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you. A 4-0 lead now for the Chatham Anglers. For play-by-play across the next 3 innings, my broadcast partner, Devin Dobick. Devin.
Thank you, Tim. Brock Wilkin, Joe Vetrano, and Hunter Stokely due up for the M's. They sit in a 4-0 hole just as they were last time. First pitch to Brock, he fouls off his left foot. Tough one there for him. He will hobble it off halfway down the first baseline. Brock struck out the second victim to Regalago, who's back out there for his 4th inning of work. And what a night he's had. Allowed just the 1 hit. Struck out a total of 3 men. Not much more you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been efficient. It's been night and day what we've seen from these 2 starting pitchers here tonight. And I mean, I'm not even sure how much longer we'll see Santucci, but for Regalago, sure, he's got the green light to keep going so long as he feels good. It's been fantastic.
So Wilkins still walking it off. That foul caught him in the wrong spot, and he will crouch down now. He's in some anguish.
Yeah, trainer not going out to check on him. Not quite sure what's going on here. As now, looks like the trainers are poking their heads out, but still not seeing anything. Wilkins. Interesting. Not quite sure what happened. Didn't catch it.
Just needs a second. Yeah, he fouled it off himself. And he'll climb back in now. Of course, going to be a little tender on it, so we'll see how the rest of his at-bat goes. His planting leg. Joe Vetrano on deck. And the 0-1 to Wilkin. Misses up high, make it 1-1.
Update on the MLB draft. Brooks Lee taken 8th overall by the Minnesota Twins, former YD Red Sox.
That one will miss 2-1 to the dismay of the Chatham Angler bench.
A couple of Mariners we should be expecting to see tonight. Should be exciting.
Hanging breaking balls cut on a miss makes it 2-2.
Jordan Beck out of Tennessee, a guy who we can expect to see go. Same with Trey Dombrowski of Monmouth, and perhaps Eric Rieselman, going to be an early guy. First 2 rounds here tonight. Next 18 over the next 2 days.
2-2 misses low and away to load up the count full. Top of the 4th inning, 4-0 in favor of the Anglers. Wilkin fouls this one off back to the backstop, and we'll do it again at 3-2.
This is what you want to see here if you're Harwich. Just have a longer at-bat, extend things a bit here. It's been so quick for Regalago, so you needed this from your leadoff guy.
Wilkin draws a walk, his team high 13th. He'll take that. Took him a while to get there. In the at-bat, there was a total of 7 pitches, but did his job. Hopefully he'll be able to run on that ankle. He seemed to jog down to first with ease, but still could affect him no matter what the degree. Even if it's just annoying, could take a few miles per hour off the speedster. As Vetrano grounds this one over to the shortstop. It's picked by Brown. He goes to second for one, on to first in time. A beautiful 6-4-3 turn. Marcus Brown and Rock Riggio. A fantastic middle infield, and they get the turn just like that. They're all cleared off.
Wow, I mean, what defense it's been here tonight from Chatham. I know we've mentioned it a few times, one of the better defenses in the league, but that's just been stellar here tonight. 2 fantastic double plays turned in each the top of the third and now here in the top of the fourth.
Hunter Stokely will climb in. On the day, he has punched out, looking. See what he can do here against Regalago. He's his most recent strikeout victim. So the Mariners have been putting the ball in play one way or another, but Regalago's been pitching to contact, and it has worked. As the 0-1 is cut on and missed, fell off the table, makes it 0-2.
I just want to find some kind of way to extend this inning here. Again, keep trying to shorten the day here for Regalago.
0-2 just misses the outside corner. Everybody kind of froze for a sec, see what the call would be, but Stokely stays alive there. He's hitting just 147 on the season, a home run, 7 runs batted in. A pitch, misses outside. Team high 3 sacrifice flies, so he's been getting the job done. Failed on an opportunity last night to cash in, but happens to everybody. As this one runs inside, and just like that, he's worked it full.
And very quickly, back-to-back Cape Cod Baseball League alumni have been selected. Gavin Cross, a 2021 Whitecap, picked 9th overall by Kansas City.
Payoff is cut on a miss. Down goes Stokely. Strikeout number 4 for Regalago. He's been fantastic. So the Mariners, despite a leadoff walk, can't do anything with it. We head to the home half. 4-0 Anglers on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Santucci's night is over as Jacob Edwards comes in to make his Cape Cod Baseball League debut. From Mercer, native of Jacksonville, Florida, left-handed pitcher, currently the only one in the bullpen for the Mariners, and the first one to him, diving stop by Harrison, but he's got nothing to do with it. Another infield single for the Anglers, excuse me. And third time DeLeo has been on base today.
I mean, he's having himself a game, as is everybody in this lineup right now. Only one Angler's failed to get on. That was Jack Rubinstein. He's struck out and flown out. Well, probably won't see him in this inning, although with the way Chatham's playing, perhaps we will, all the way in the 7-hole.
Just transferred to Mercer from UNC Asheville. Went 8-3 this past season, a 2.24 ERA. Made 15 appearances, 14 starts across 88 and a third. Struck out 82 to just 26 walks. Count is 0-1 to Miller Green, who has a home run tonight and also has struck out.
You know, always interesting to see who comes in late in the season to help out these teams.
As this is grounded over to third, booted by Wilkin. The throw is going to be not in time. That was another bang-bang play. Wilkin will be credited with an error there. Tough break for the Mariners. They just can't even help themselves at this point. A ball that could have been a double play, tried to turn it before he even fielded it, and they're going to score it a hit.
Well, so it's now a fourth straight inning in which Chatham's recorded 2 hits. It was a hard hit ball. But I mean,
Hometown scoring, I would say. Could have been a double play just like that. Or now they change it to an error. Maybe an error and a hit. As this is grounded over to second, they go to, and they get both of them. Excuse me for that, amidst the confusion. Kind of missed the call. A 4-6-3 double play. Goodwin to Harrison to Stokely. So a little bit of reparation there. They take the hit off the board. It does become an error. But Miller Green heads back to the dugout anyway, along with Rock Riggio grounded out.
Yeah, I'd say that's the right call there. Wilkin certainly bobbled it. And usually when it's a bobble like that and you try to justify that it's a hit, you say that the throw wouldn't have made it there in time, but Wilkin already almost got him at third despite the bobble, so he fields that cleanly. That's easily an out over at first, and so it's an error for sure.
One-0 is slapped out to deep left field. Going back, and will it stay fair? No. Home plate umpire Jeff Merzel had the entire tension of the entire ballpark staring at him, and he says foul ball. He is going to be public enemy number 1. Count is 1-1. Not sure if we can review it. Still a lot of murmuring going on in the seats. Tim, you got quite the smile on your face.
I'm not going to lie, that's not the first time I've seen a ball hit to that exact spot in this exact ballpark between these two teams.
Now it's chopped over to the shortstop Harrison. He's going to have to rush the throw, but it's on target. So despite almost a 2-run home run being crushed out of here by Ingram, he grounds out, and it's a scoreless inning for Edwards in his debut. So we'll head to the 5th inning. Still 4-0 Anglers. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. We head to the 5th inning. Mariners staring up quite the hill. They have just the one hit on the night, and it came from the 9-hitter and Ethan O'Donnell. That part of the lineup will be coming up here. And it's going to be Kalai Harrison, Will Hamner, and Matt Gassetti, followed by Ethan O'Donnell. Should they bring one more than the minimum to the plate? Harrison walked back in the second. See what he can make of his second at bat. He chops it slowly back to the pitcher's mound. Regalago gathers and fires on to first in time. That's out number 1.
Just cruising right now. Regalago getting guys out at an unbelievable clip. Just 58 pitches for now 4 1/3.
Will Hamner climbs in. He grounded out in the same fashion we just saw from Harrison back to the pitcher. Beautiful sky tonight at Veterans Field. Of course, you're all listening on the radio, so throw on Nesson if you can. Check it out.
But you can sync up our audio. How about that?
You can and you can't. I know from my standpoint, if I were at home, I can't pause live TV.
Well, you can pause the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
No, but it would be behind.
Yeah, in case we are behind.
We are definitely behind. I think our stream's probably behind cable. You could be right, but I know it would be frustrating for me. But
very rarely am I right, so probably not.
Cotton candy clouds, light blue sky, and that sun just went behind the trees out in left field. Count is 1-1, and Steve Engel coming out displeased about something. I got to think it's the pace that we're seeing from Regalago, as he indicates. He's not giving the batter any time to get set. Engel will head back. Hamner climbs back in the box, and we're ready to play ball again. The pitch. Fouled off to the netting, and it's 1-2. Amateur, an Alabama Crimson Tide member from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Just 2 for 20 on the season. The pitch. Dropped right in there. Strike 3 at the knees on the breaking ball. 76 miles an hour. And another strikeout.
It's when you can get guys with that off-speed stuff that does so much for you as a pitcher. A lot of guys at this level know how to pump the strike zone with 90 miles an hour and up. That's what a lot of guys at the college level do, but as soon as you're able to work those secondary, tertiary pitches, that's what really makes you a valuable potential prospect. As the first pitch is fouled off by Gassetti. I mean, take last year's pitcher of the year in the Cape Cod Baseball League, Trey Dombrowski, somebody who we're anticipating could go tonight in the MLB draft. Ultimately, he was more of a off-speed kind of guy. I mean, his fastball only hovered right around high 80s, low 90s, very low 90s. So you can make it work, and you can be seen as a valuable prospect if you can get guys on the slow stuff.
Gassetti takes that one down to a knee. It's 0-2. He walked back in the third, was stranded at third base. Him and O'Donnell got on back-to-back to start off the third inning. It was spoiled, as this one will just miss. Half the infield started trotting in, but it'll be 1-2 now. Gassetti back into the right-hand side. Regalago can line himself up for a win with a out here. His team up 4-0. Of course, need to pitch 5 to get credit for it. See if he's up to the task.
Another Cape Cod Baseball Leaguer gone. As that misses down low, it's 3-2. Kevin Parada of last year's Chatham Anglers ended up going 11th overall to the New York Mets.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Gassetti has worked it full. Here comes another offering from Regalago. He grounds it over the shortstop, Brown. He gathers plenty of time, and the throw is on target. Bit of a stretch from Grice there, but that will end the inning. Mariners go down in order. We head to the home half of the 5th. Still 4-0 Chatham. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Johnny Castanazi, Caden Grice, and Jack Rubinstein set to go against Jacob Edwards. Did the job in the fourth. 4 came up, and he was able to get out of a jam despite an error from Brock Wilkin. As the sky really has gotten nice here. I'm going to grab a flick of that. 0-1, and this one misses to make it 1-1.
Part of what makes Cape Cod are these baseball skies, and that is exactly what we have here tonight in Chatham.
1-1. Chopped foul down the third base side, and it's 1-2. And our social media intern, Courtney Robinson, having a field day over there. She can't get enough of this.
Yeah, that's content right there. Content is king.
She's having a blast. So 1-2 is down in the dirt to make it 2-2.
Veterans Field, certainly one of the more iconic fields here in the league. Yeah. If not the most, of course, the movie, Summer Catch.
Yeah, I watched it. Me and my buddy John watched it the other night. We rented it. As there's a strikeout looking there. Jacob Edwards picks up his first Cape Cod Baseball League strikeout. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, Edwards, great to see him able to pick up that strikeout. Trying to settle into a bit more of a rhythm here in his second inning of work after allowing a leadoff single back in the fourth. His defense bailed him out a bit. A nice double play from Goodwin to Harrison. Helped to shorten that last inning out for him. Anglers ended up leaving DeLeo stranded over on third.
Here's Grice, his third at-bat of the ball game. He's been hit by a pitch and singled. Been stranded at second both times. Trying to get something started here in the Angler fifth. A 1 offering coming from Edwards. And it's slapped out to deep center field. Going back is O'Donnell at the track. And did he make the catch? He did not. As rounding second but holding up there is Grice. O'Donnell leaped up. It looked like he hit him in the glove, and when he came down, his head went into the wall, but it's kind of like a tarp, so it pushed back. He appears to be okay, but the ball spilled out. He did not haul it in. Would have been a play of the year candidate had he hauled it in.
And how about the round of applause from the Chatham faithful here in attendance tonight? I mean, that was such an effort by O'Donnell out in center field. He put his body on the line for that one. You're talking about a guy who is already coming back from injury, putting it all on the line for his summer ball team. Full extension, full effort, runs into the wall. You'll love to see it. Thankfully, he's all right.
It was a great effort, but I think they were probably cheering for the double, in all honesty.
It felt like, I know sometimes, I mean, obviously the double is fantastic, but it feels like a situation like that when it's after the play's over. It felt like a salute out to O'Donnell, in my humble opinion.
It also took everybody a while to figure out what had happened.
I got a thumbs up from a fan over here.
Nobody knew if he caught it or not, or what the story was.
So yeah, at least one vote for me. For the effort, not for the double. For the effort, yes, I got another vote. Thank you. Sorry, Devin.
I'm worth 3. The pitch. This is fouled off to the right. And that will make it a 1-1 count now.
Nonetheless, Chatham, again, unsurprisingly here off and running, as that's hits now in every single inning so far, all 5.
Ball and a strike to Rubinstein. He hit into a sacrifice fly in his last AB. Also struck out as this is chopped over to second. On a couple hops for Goodwin, he gets the easy out at first. Down to third goes Grice. Now 90 feet away from making this a 5-0 ball game.
Now batting for Chatham, the shortstop from Oklahoma State, number 62.
And you have to see what you're able to do situationally now here if you're Chatham. You've just been able to sort of bang the ball around the park here, see if they can't get another base hit or find some way to sneak Grice home as he currently stands over on third.
Nice to see Chris Cassidy rewarding himself after the half inning. He just had some lifesavers. As this is chopped up into the infield, going to be a close play at first, and it's another infield single for the Anglers. Into score comes Grice, down to first goes Marcus Brown. Tough break there, just got over the head of Jacob Edwards. That one hurts if you're Harwich.
This is the 4th out of 5 innings here tonight in which Harwich has allowed at least 2 base hits. Just really unbelievable stuff we're seeing from Chatham here tonight, a team that is generally struggling at the plate on the season. I mean, talk about the most hits against in a game this season. Well, 16, that was back against Brewster on the 4th of July, or the 3rd of July, I should say. Some early fireworks from the Whitecaps, but already it's just been so impressive to watch here from the Anglers.
As this is slapped, but foul off to the left. Make it 0-1 to the non-hitter Cooper Engel. He has doubled and also struck out looking.
That's the hat.
0-1 now to Engel. Leads the Cape Cod Baseball Leagues in walks as well. A guy who loves to get on base. This is fouled off to the left. Now he's got to protect. Count is 0-2. And that number for Engel, he has 21 walks. So despite just hitting about 241, he's been getting on base, doing his job. Very valuable 9-hitter. There goes the runner. The throw down from Gassetti is going to get into center field. Taking a turn for third is Marcus Brown. He's in there with a head-first slide. No throw. And so yet another mistake for the Mariners. And a runner on third with 2 away.
Gassetti generally sound defensively. I mean, I think with just how close the slide was down to second base, it made it that much more difficult for Goodwin to try to field it.
As this is flipped up to Goodwin, he hauls it in for out number 3. But the Anglers tack on for one more. 5-0, we head to the break. 6th inning coming up. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Ethan O'Donnell and then top of the order due up for the Mariners. O'Donnell, the only Mariner with a hit in that 9 spot, and it was a ground ball between second and first. Not even hard hit. Regalago has just been fantastic. As next pitch to him misses low and away to make it 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, he's deserved to be out there for now his 6th inning of work. Just unbelievable pace he's working at.
As this is grounded once again towards a similar area. Foot race to the bag. Did Regalago come away with it? Yes. Tough break for the Mariners, but a nice turn as Grice was able to get it over to Regalago. Score that a 3-1 putout. Couple bang-bang plays, and none of them have favored the Mariners.
Yeah, I mean, Chatham's just showing off at this point. A little pirouette over to first base as Regalago was covering. It was a high throw from Grice. Impressive, really impressive from Regalago. That's a tough play to field. And so to be able to make that, a guy, again, pitchers generally not much fielding practice, made it look nice.
It's now a ball and no strikes to Nick Goodwin. Grounded into double play back in the third. He's also struck out. As chops this one into fair territory. It might have hit the plate. Chopped it off the plate and into the infield grass. So it's 1-1.
Always such a tough call whenever a ball's chopped right at home. I mean, we saw it yesterday. Josh Pearson for the Colliers hit a ground ball that bounced right in front of the home plate. He laid down a bunt, ended up getting a piece of it, kicked it, and was ultimately ruled out. Katuitt tried to rule that it was a foul ball right out of the gate, but home plate umpire at the time, Mike Hinojosa, declaring that, no, it was not, and in fact, he was out for running into the ball, making contact with it as it was in play.
Another one chopped foul from Goodwin. He's behind in count 1-2. The pitch. He lines it into right field, tailing away from the right fielder, and it goes off the glove of Miller Green. Goodwin gonna head for second, take a turn for third. Here comes the relay, and it will not be in time. Goodwin in there with the left hand. A nice slide from him. Another full extension effort from Lyle Miller Green, and it hit him in the glove. Got away, Nick Goodwin is able to come all the way around to third and 90 feet away from being the Mariners' first run.
I mean, with the way that this game has gone, I was fully expecting Lyle Miller Green to come down with that ball. It's just been highlight after highlight for these anglers, but ultimately does not come down with it, pushes it so much further into foul territory that it allows Goodwin to get himself into an advantageous spot. So we'll see what ultimately happens here as home plate umpire in Jeff Merzel has a brief word with Regalago, and they are going to rule that a triple.
So nice for Nick Goodwin. He will take that. As now this one is lined into center field for a base hit. Tommy Seidel sees one pitch and brings in Goodwin from third. Mariners are on the board. It's 5-1.
There you go. If you're Harwich, you're finally able to string together 2 hits in an inning, let alone the fact that it's just your second and third hit of the ball game. And now you're setting up Brock Wilkin with a man on first to continue the rally here for Harwich. I mean, you have to like the way the top of the order is able to come up here and get off to a good start. Now up to Wilkin, 2-time Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star, to try to keep it going.
For Goodwin, his first triple of the season, just to circle back around to that. So he has now hit the season cycle. He's got a single, double, triple, and home run in that time. Only other Mariner with triples is Tommy Seidel with a pair of them. 0-1 to Wilkin. The pitch misses outside, make it 1-1.
And a couple more MLB draft updates. Zach Neto of last year's championship winning Brewster Whitecaps go to the Angels at 13th overall. And then Jace Young going to Texas Tech. He was picked 12th overall by the Tigers.
Two balls and a strike to Brock Wilkin. The pitch. Misses down below the knees. Couple close calls. Regalago just missing, and it's 3-1. His pitch count is now up to 86. So climbing up there. Not sure how much longer we will see. 3-1 count is bounced in the dirt, and that will be ball 4. So down to second goes Seidel. Wilkin over to first, and now 2 on, 1 away for the Mariners. Joe Vitrano.
Just what you wanted to do if you're Brock Wilkin, just get on base. Of course, we know Wilkin's capable of doing a lot more than just getting on base, but even still to be able to pass it along for a guy in Vitrano who's been in a bit of a slump recently, but who is yet another all-star for these Mariners, a guy who is always dangerous whenever he steps into the box. A chance to continue to climb back into this game if you're Harwich.
As that will bring out pitching coach talked things over Regalado. Vetrano had a large line out back in the second. Sensational grab by Jake DeLeo. He's also grounded into a double play, trying to avoid that fate here. Just one away for him.
Time is running out. We aim to call it at the end of the 7th inning. So please stop by the raffle table behind home plate near the press box to pick up your tickets. Remember, you have to be in it to win it. We've got 6 excellent prizes, including
Home plate umpire Jeff Merzel coming to break up the meeting on the mound.
There was a righty warming over in the Anglers bullpen as well. So we'll see how much comes of this conversation. See just how much longer they'll let Regalado actually stay in the game.
A little gamesmanship maybe, getting him a few more pitches as he's put himself in a jam. 8:40 Eastern time here. Joe Vetrano with a chance to make this game a whole lot closer. It's 5-1 Anglers in the 6th. The pitch. He's in at the knees for a strike. Vetrano couldn't believe it. Flashed his head back to the dugout looking for confirmation. And he questions Jeff Merzel, who says, yeah, that was at your knees. Gives the sign of, all right, whatever. And we're back to it. 0-1. Bounced in the dirt. Nice stop by Rubinstein behind the plate. One ball, one strike to the Boston College Eagle. Goodwin already came around to score. Seidel singled, and Wilkenaz walked. 1-1 offering. This is low and away to make it 2-1. Hunter Stokely on deck. Not sure how much more we'll see from Regalado, but would be a favorable matchup for him, a lefty on righty. 2-1. Misses, low and away, another close pitch. 3-1 now to Vetrano.
Yeah, and you want to be careful for Chatham here. Regalado's done a nice job to earn himself a longer outing, but one poor inning can undo a lot of really excellent work.
Here it is. There goes the runner in Seidel. He's going to get down to third. Wilkin not going anywhere. Count is now 3-2, so on yet another stolen base for Tommy Seidel.
Nine now on the season for Seidel, team leading.
Vetrano, a chance for damage, even putting it in play. As long as it's not a ground into a double play, would probably get Seidel in. Seidel dances down off third. Vetrano's going to need time. It looks like he's got a little bug in his eye. Swatting it away. Payoff pitch coming to Big Joe Vetrano. And he grounds it through the hole on the right side. In comes Seidel to score. Down to second goes Wilkin, and Joe Vetrano picks up an RBI single. That will be his 16th RBI. That's good for second on the team behind just Nick Goodwin. And now 4 straight batters have reached. The 4 All-Stars in the Harwich offense have reached. Goodwin tripled, came around to score. Seidel singled and just came around to score. Brock Wilkin walked, and now Vetrano checks in with a single.
Yeah, and make it now 18 straight games in which Joe Vetrano's gotten on base. Really impressive stuff we've seen from him.
So that will be the night for Regalado. They are going to yank him here. We'll take a quick break, introduce you to the new arm when we return. 5-2 Anglers, you're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back call to the bullpen. LeBaron Johnson climbs into pitch. Pick up the relief for Nick Regalago. And for Johnson this season, his 4th appearance, he's thrown 2 2/3, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks to 3 strikeouts, an ERA of 16.87, and opponents hitting .364 against him. And a lot of that is due in part to a walk-off grand slam he allowed in his last appearance. So, Hunter Stokely behind in the count 0-1, runners on first and second, and this is a high deep drive out to right field. Back it goes, watch it go, onto the hill, off the tree. Hunter Stokely, a 3-run blast. Yabo, he'll touch them all. And just like that, the Mariners back in this one. It's 5-4. 5-5, excuse me. I forgot about the last run. Hunter Stokely ties the ball game with 1 swing of the bat. Scoreboard was updating as the runners were touching the plate. Stokely's entire team out of the dugout to greet him. Wow, what a moment for him. His 2nd home run of the season, 10th RBI.
Just an absolute tank from the Babe. New ball game here. All's forgotten, all's forgiven if you're Harwich after an abysmal first 5 innings at the plate.
So 2 of those will be charged to Regalago. LeBaron Johnson, just like that. Mariners have 5 straight men get on base. Hunter Stokely clears it off. A whole new ball game. No balls, 2 strikes. Now to Kalai Harrison. He grounded out to the pitcher and walked in the ball game tonight. So that will close the line on Regalago. 5 1/3, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He gave his all. That one will just miss. So how about that? 1-2 now to the NC State Wolfpack member. And it's fouled off. And into the concourse area.
If we were in our normal broadcast spot where Nesson's broadcasting from tonight, I don't know if we would have had a play at it, but at least I think Chris Cassidy, who definitely would have been posted up right there, would have had a play at it.
I wouldn't doubt it. 1-2 now. To Harrison, the pitch. Swung on and missed. That's the first strikeout of the day for LeBaron Johnson. And 2 away now for Will Hammiter.
The left fielder, number 36, William Hammiter.
Hammiter on the day, grounded out to the pitcher, and he's also struck out swinging. Mariners have tied the ball game. They were down 5-0 at one point, but they splurge in the inning for 5 runs. Every hitter 1 through 5 coming across to score. It's 0-1 to Will Hammiter. Ties the most offense the Mariners have had in an inning. Last time came at Bourne when they scored 5 runs and a walk-off loss. 1-1 to Hammiter. Johnson a long look in. Native of Jacksonville, Florida, Texas Longhorn. This is grounded over to first. It'll be an easy play for Caden Grice. Score that one 3-0, and the inning ends. But a flurry of offense started by a Nick Goodwin triple, followed by a Tommy Seidel single, Brock Wilkin walk, Joe Vitrano single, and then a Hunter Stokely 3-run blast has knotted this game up at 5. After 5.5, we head to the home half of the 6th. It's 5-5 from Veterans Field. We'll take a quick break and be right back. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.
center fielder from Georgia Tech. Number 2,
We head to the bottom of the 6th. Just like that, a whole new ball game. Mariners strike for 5 with their top 5 in the order coming around to score in the top half. And the Anglers, just like that, have blown it despite a solid 4 and we'll call it 4 1/3 from, or 5 1/3 rather, from Regalago, excuse me. Pitch count got up and then LeBaron Johnson couldn't get out of the jam. Call to the bullpen for the Mariners. Blake Purnell comes in relief of Jacob Edwards. Edwards went 2 complete innings, allowed 2 hits, an earned run. Didn't walk anybody, but struck out the 1. Purnell comes in, and for him, his 8th appearance, has a 1.86 ERA. Credit for a win, no losses on the season. 9 2/3 innings pitched. He struck out 8 to 4 walks and allowed 11 hits. We'll see what he can do here as it's a completely new ball game. Top of the order, DeLeo, Miller Green, and Riggio. Pitch swung on a miss, off speed at 65 miles an hour. Purnell really pulled the string on that. DeLeo was way out ahead and now 2-1. DeLeo, 4 homers on the season, 12 RBIs, hitting 271, excuse me. Is this one off the glove of Purnell? Gets over to Goodwin. The play on to first is in time to get him. Big first out for the Mariners. That looked like disaster waiting to happen again, and another infield hit. Deflected off the glove, but Goodwin able to clean up the garbage, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, you have to be able to capitalize and get those breaks going back your way if you're Harwich. Able to record that out there. Huge out to be able to get to open up this inning, as you put it, Devin. And again, just incredible, though, the way that this team came back in that 5th inning. Of course, obviously, whenever you put up 5 runs in an inning, it's always going to be impressive, as that's certainly one of the better marks we've seen in an inning this season for the Mariners. In fact, ties the season high in runs scored in an inning with the 5 they put up against Bourne back on June 29th. So really impressive stuff. Haven't seen it all too often like that from Harwich.
0-1 to Miller Green. And the pitch misses down low at the ankles to even it up. Purnell, ever since his arrival, has come in and done a good job for the Mariners. Typically in for an inning or so. Of course, 9 2/3 across 7 games played. As he's ahead in the count 1-2 to Miller Green, who has the other home run in this ball game. A 2-run shot that drove in Jake DeLeo back in the 1st. It has been a while since Chatham really has had consistent offense. They got 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th. But thanks to a bunch of weird sequences, as he's rung up. Mark Delaney says, yes, he did go around. Miller Green goes down, first strikeout of the night for Blake Purnell.
Now batting for Chatham, the 2nd baseman from Oklahoma.
There you go. You get another call going your way here if you're Harwich. You're just able to get Miller Green to go down, and so this inning's really showing up your way. You needed to have a lockdown defensive inning after coming back and tying this game. You can't immediately come back out and give up a run and fall right back behind.
2 away, and the base is empty for Rock Riggio. He's 0 for 2. Walked and scored in the 1st, but he's since grounded out to the shortstop in Harrison and grounded into a double play. Trying to turn that all around here. Oklahoma State Cowboy hitting 176 on the season. The pitch misses outside to make it 1-1. Chuck Ingram on deck. Riggio, of course, in the 3 spot tonight for the Anglers. Purnell trying to retire him. The pitch, this is lined into left field, down the line, fair ball. It's going to trickle all the way down to the wall. Riggio rounding first, heading into 2nd, and he's going to advance to 3rd. Here comes the throw in, and he is in with the right hand. He hesitated, wasn't even going hard the entire time. As At second, it looked like he stopped, then decided to run. And I think that the Mariners are going to argue that this ball went past the fence, so Hamner couldn't really get it in an efficient manner. It should have been out of play, and him at second. But down to third goes Riggio, and he gets a triple. Rally continues for the Anglers.
Yeah, there's enough of a gap down that left field line that once the fence ends, there's no extra fencing to keep it within the reach of Hamner out in left. And so tough break for Harwich. It allows the man to get all the way down to third base.
Chuck Ingram trying to take the lead back for the Anglers. Fouls off the first pitch he sees to make it 0-1.
So a triple aside here tonight. Not something we've seen all too often this season, but here tonight, a three-bagger for each team.
And for Riggio on the season, his second triple. He's the only Angler on the team with a triple. And his last one came in the 4-4 tie against the Mariners. That was in the first inning, and a 4-run first inning. He cleared the bases with it. It's a 1-1 count to Chuck Ingram now. Ingram is flied out to right, walked and scored, and also grounded out to the shortstop. Purnell into his set, and the pitch. That just misses the outside corner, make it 2-1. Johnny Castanazi's on deck for the Anglers, trying to capitalize. They got a runner 90 feet away with 2 outs here. The pitch. This is grounded, but foul down the third base side, and we're at 2-2. Just crossed 9 o'clock Eastern time. So the game on about an hour per 3-inning pace. Assuming this inning ends within the next 5 minutes or so. 2-2 offering coming from Purnell here. And it misses the inside corner. Mariner bench wanted it. They won't get it. And it's 3-2. See how Purnell approaches it. Into his set. Lowers the glove and the payoff. This is grounded but foul once again. Almost got a piece of Riggio on that third base side. So we'll stay there. As in this count alone, the 8th pitch coming up. Purnell's count is up to 18. So here it comes. And it's a long, deep drive out to left field, coming down and off the wall. Heading into second, the throw down, not in time. It's an RBI double for Chuck Ingram, and just like that, the Anglers back in the lead. It's 6-5.
Just what you wanted to avoid if you're Harwich. Letting up a run on a big hit like that out to left field. As soon as you're able to rally and tie this game with one of your best offensive innings of the season. Unbelievable sequence of events for Harwich as they've now fallen behind once again. I mean, credit to Chatham. They've not been shocked at all. They've not been dismayed by the fact that Harwich has come back in this game. They've continued to just plug away on offense, as that's runs in now 4 out of the 6 innings which have been played to this point.
Scored 6 last night. They get 6 tonight. On the season, they've scored just 92. Tied for last in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Here comes the pitch from Purnell now to Castanazi, who's punched out twice tonight and also singled. See if he can add to the lead. Base hit would do it. Got speed and Ingram over down at second. And for a guy who is hitting just around 100 in Ingram, he has really done his part tonight. He's come around to score, and now an RBI double. This is chopped over to second. Goodwin gets it on a few bounces over to first, and it will be in time for out number 3. But an RBI double from Chuck Ingram gives the Anglers the lead back. After 6-5 Chatham, you're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. head to the 7th inning, and taking us the rest of the way is going to be my broadcast partner, Tim Foley. Tim.
Thanks so much, Devin. As back on the mound is going to be the pitcher for the Anglers in LeBaron Johnson. Now out for his first full inning of work after coming in and giving up a 3-run shot to Hunter Stokely back in the 6th inning with only 1 gone. That was a 5-run inning for the Mariners in which they were able to tie up the game, and especially impressive feat considering they've only scored 5 runs in an inning only once before this season, back at the end of June, as Matt Cassetti fouls off the 1-0. It's a 1-1 count now. But then they give up the go-ahead run in allowing Rock Riggio to come home as he hit a triple with 2 outs, and that's another thing that's plagued Harwich recently, is not being able to get off the field with 2 outs, and wouldn't you have it, Anglers make them pay. So it's now a 2-1 count here to Gassetti as he's able to take the 1-1 down low outside, 81 miles an hour. Purnell, he's up to 18 pitches right now, or pardon, Purnell back in the dugout. LeBaron Johnson up to now 11 pitches as that one comes in for a strike. It's 2-2.
Gassetti, the only Mariner that did not come up to bat in the 6th. They batted 8 men, starting with Ethan O'Donnell, who waits on deck.
2-2, skips well in the dirt out in front of home plate, and so the count is now 3-2.
Let's go Anglers, the chant. There's a couple thousand here.
Yeah, really impressive crowd here tonight. I'm not sure if the draw of having Nesson in town helped to make things that much more enticing. Chatham always draws a great following one way or another. As it's a 3-2 count here. Johnson comes set on the mound, stares in and delivers. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Down goes Gassetti. A nice put-away pitch as he blows it by him at 92 miles an hour. Second strikeout of the outing for Johnson.
Nice pitch there, but now Chatham always drawing a good crowd. There was 3,100 people here back on July 6th, last time we were here, so that's the most that have seen a Mariner game this season. It was on the road, but as mentioned with Nesson here, of course, pretty cool to have them on the concourse.
As the first pitch in to Ethan O'Donnell misses for a ball. Chatham, of course, atop the league in average attendance in their 14 home games prior to today, averaging 2,300, closer to 2,400. The only team in the league that's averaging over 2K a night. That's going to be fought foul right into the Mariners dugout. That's a hot shot. Not sure if anybody got hit by it, as there were a couple of Mariners who jumped out of the way, or at least seemingly so. Again, not sure if anybody ended up taking that one to the ribs or not. There was a Mariner who was standing there who's now back in the dugout. I don't believe I see anybody receiving immediate medical attention, as looks like David Smith, the Mariner who just saw his life flash before his eyes, back up on the railing now, but looks to be crouching behind the fencing a bit more. You know what? I think I would too. As O'Donnell ahead in the count, 2-1. 1 gone. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
See what O'Donnell can do. Had the first hit of the ball game for the Mariners in the 3rd, and grounded out in that 6th inning.
Johnson comes set, stares in, holds the glove about waist tight. Here's the pitch. That'll skip in front of home plate, and very similar pitch on a 2-2 count in the last at-bat to Gassetti, where he spiked it in the dirt right in front of home plate. And so, it's a full count once again. Johnson, after letting up the leadoff home run when he came into the game, has been able to retire the last 3 with 2 strikeouts. The 3-2 is cut on and missed. Strike 3. Ethan O'Donnell's retired. It's now 3 strikeouts in the outing here for Johnson Jr., and it's 2 here in the inning. Very impressive stuff from the righty.
He's really settled in. Since he gave up that home run to the first batter he faced, he's retired the next 4. 3 of them by way of the K.
As this now brings up Nick Goodwin. Goodwin on the night. He is 1 for 3, has a triple. As the first pitch is going to come in, that's going to be in for a called strike. It's an 0-1 count.
Around the Cape Cod Baseball League, Falmouth defeated Cotuit 9-8 in 8 innings due to daylight at Lowell Park. But lucky for the Cavaliers, the Harbor Hawks got crushed 8-1 by the Bourne Braves at McKeon Park. Matt Shaw hit a cycle in that ball game for the Braves. Gateman and Firebirds tied at 1 at Spillane Field. And the YD Red Sox defeated the Brewster Whitecaps in a battle of 1 versus 2 in the East, 5-4.
So unless Harwich can come back in this one, it's not shaping up to be a great night for them. You stand to lose ground to Orleans, who's the team that's directly ahead of you. They would move to be a game and a half ahead of the Mariners if everything holds, with Harwich down now in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Persistent "Let's Go Anglers" chant, and a young fan, when the crowd dies down as if they've had enough of the chant, he says, "We need more," and trying to get them going.
That one sails in at 80 miles an hour right beneath the chin of Nick Goodwin. It's a 2-2 count, 2 gone. Johnson trying to strike out the side. If he can do it, he'll come set. Holds the glove about waist height. Stares in. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. LeBaron Johnson strikes out the side. What a showing from him. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Anglers due back up to bat when we return. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Caden Grice leads it off for the Chatham Anglers. Now in the bottom of the 7th inning. Grice on the night. He is 2 for 2. Doubleton came all the way around back in the 5th inning. He was the 4th run of the ball game for the Anglers, or pardon me, no, the 5th, excuse me. As back on the mound now, Blake Purnell, as he is facing now his 2nd inning of work. In his last inning, allowed a go-ahead run for Chatham. That has them up 6-5 right now as Rock Riggio was able to come around. Purnell comes set on the mound. Actually has to step off for a moment as he looks to regather himself. Cam Collier taken off the draft board, slipped all the way down to 18. He was a guy who was ranked top 10 in this year's class. Ended up going to the Cincinnati Reds. A guy who batted in the 9th spot here on opening day when Cotuit came into town over here at Veterans Field. It's a 1-0 count right now to Grice. Grice also got hit by a pitch back in his first plate appearance. That one's in for a called strike. It's now 1-1. So there's just been a slew of Cape Cod Baseball League players who have been taken in the draft. It's been a lot of fun to see names go off the board that fans across the league are familiar with. Of course, as mentioned, Collier, as that one misses outside. It's now 3-1. And that also had Chase DeLauder, last year a Firebird who came across, or pardon, who was drafted by the Cleveland Guardians. Those two are the more recent ones. We've, of course, been mentioning other Cape Cod Baseball League alumni getting drafted throughout the broadcast as the 2-1 skips in. And it's a 3-1 count now. Still waiting on the first Mariner to be picked up. Waiting to see just exactly who it might be the first 2 rounds here tonight. So odds are we will see somebody who took the field at White House Field in Harwich taken off the draft board at some point in the evening. As that's fought off up and out of play. It's a 3-2 count now to Grice.
Purnell's control is lacked here. He's thrown 15 strikes to 11 balls. Having trouble against Grice, but got to dig deep, find a way to get this out. Ran into trouble in the 6th inning after 2 quick outs, gave up back-to-back extra base hits. And now with his team trailing by 1, no more margin for error.
It's a 3-2 count. Popped up and again out of play. We'll do it again at 3-2. But again, yeah, you don't want to let this game get any more out of hand. It's been a wild one here after Jonathan Santucci came in and did not have his greatest showing of the season to open up the game. Again, his line reads like this: 3 complete, allowed 7 hits, 4 earned runs, walked 3 batters, and struck out just 4. Tied his season high in walks allowed. Set a new high in earned runs allowed and hits as well. He did not have his stuff tonight, as that's largely why the Mariners fell behind, as it's going to be a walk to Caden Grice to open up the inning. He is on for now the 4th straight plate appearance. All 4